3, 2, 1. Josh, I can't believe it. Everybody, welcome to episode 43 of the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It's the podcast where creatives talk about the process of making it. And sometimes, if we're lucky enough, we have amazing guests to also come along with the show. My name is Lucas Ng, and I'm the actor portion of this podcast, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Josh Yang, and I'm the up-and-coming amateur comedian. Haven't really made it so much, but I'm getting there, kind of. Maybe part of the act.
You know what, man? If you continue with this act, you'll be evergreen forever. Always up and coming the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's the sweet spot, because then it's like you're not fully in where you can feel like, no, you know what? No, I'm thinking more about it. It's not the sweet spot. It's actually the grueling grind of figuring out if you have any talent or if you're gonna make it anywhere. So, I mean, it's this period where like you look back on and you can be like, oh, you think about it nostalgic, you wax poetic about it, but really when you're living it, it's pretty shit. But other than that, yeah, wait, this isn't how we usually start.
Yeah, we don't usually start off so negative, but anyways, hopefully you have better news. And if you can answer this question again with the joke of the week, Mr. Josh Yang, have you made it yet?
I've alluded to it, and I have not made it yet. But, you know, like I said before, I'm committing to this one joke a week type of exercise commitment to what we're doing here. So, okay, here's the joke. Halloween, we just came past Halloween, even though it's about 4 weeks ago. Halloween was just finished. And to me, I think Halloween is just like the purge for rich people. But instead of the rich killing the poor for sport on one night a year, they kill their children slowly and with full-size diabetes bars.
Hey.
Yes, diabetes bars, maybe the rhythm of that might be a little odd, but I think I could expand. I got this other whole idea where it's like it's the first time rich people can like engage in redistribution of wealth. Like they they can do it one night a year, and then the rest of the time they can be like, oh no, redistribution not good. But so that's the joke of the week.
It's topical. I mean,
ish, yeah, it's topical.
4 weeks ago, topical.
4 weeks ago, Halloween happens every year.
Yeah,
even though this year, you know, with COVID and everything, who knows what everything was. But
exactly.
Anyways, I feel like I've met my quota. Lucas,
Yeah.
Have you made it yet?
I know I sound like a broken record. That's such a cliche because I've never owned records in my life. But no, I have not made it yet. But oh man, Josh, we were just talking about this before we hit the record button, but like things are on the move again and I'm excited. I'm really hoping to end off this abysmal, it's not abysmal, it's very trying year on a high note. And we might be getting there right now. So keep up to date with this podcast for all their future updates because things are going to pick up soon.
Yes, nice.
Listeners.
Hoping for that Christmas miracle Christmas episode podcast where it's like, oh, it's a Christmas miracle type of ending to the year. You know, either that or the aliens come out of the monolith that they discovered in Utah and take over. So who knows how this year is going to end.
That was so cool when I saw that on Vice.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, but we do have a third panel this week. You know, 1, 2, a third panel right there. Mm-hmm. That means we have an amazing guest here today. Are you ready, Josh?
Oh, tell me who our guest is.
So a friend of the show, Ginny Wong, if you remember from previous episodes there, had introduced me to our next guest here. Our guest has a play reading group where she picks plays and also casts people to play certain parts within that play. I was fortunate enough to do a reading with her over Zoom. It was such a great time to meet other actors and to be also inspired by them too. I just think that speaks volumes that even during this time when it's hard to stay motivated and inspired, she still rallies and furthermore inspires others to keep on going. I believe I'm all the better for joining her group. So Thank you to our next guest for starting that play reading group. So, our guest here has had roles in History Erased, Untold Stories of the ER, and more recently, a starring role as Agent Allison in the hit Christmas movie Baby in a Manger. Please give it up for the amazing Monica Rodriguez Knox.
Hey.
Hey guys. What an intro. Wow. I feel very special.
Oh, you are. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
As we start off with every show, though, Monica, have you made it yet?
Have I made it yet? That would be a no.
Oh, that was so emphatic.
No, I've not made it yet. Yeah, but I feel that shouldn't discount how far I've come.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I feel like I still have a ways to go, but I still have come a long way. So I'm very happy about that.
For sure. And we will definitely touch upon your whole story from George Brown to all the plays that you've been doing and training and all that stuff too. But I like to lead off with also this question too. What's your it in making it?
I think for me, making it would be working consistently. Ideally, honestly, would be like a procedural drama episodic show or a sci-fi series, something like that would be like my ultimate. But honestly, it would be if I could be making a consistent living off of acting. That would be to me like making it. Yeah.
It's always that kind of like financial, I guess financial stability, but stability is the wrong word, but like I think just a financial understanding that you're going to be okay doing what you love. And that's the most powerful thing you can have.
Yeah. And just being consistently doing what you love, right? Just knowing that, you know, and working with other people, because acting is sometimes so solitary. Because it's all about trying to get the work, right? So you're spending so much time auditioning, and a lot of that is alone. You're spending that time alone. So for me, the ideal would be on set, working with actors, working with directors, you know, on a consistent basis, doing my craft, doing the thing that I love to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So from our research here and everything like that, as previously mentioned too, you went to George Brown and studied theater arts there and also got your program degree and all that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty stark. Like I went into acting a bit later in my life after graduating and everything like that. But it sounds like you had always wanted to do, or at least in the performing arts, you had always wanted to do it. Is that correct? Is that performing arts something you had always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think like from high school, I was always I was kind of a theater kid in high school too. I was always in the drama department. I'd be, you know, doing the high school musical shows, the productions. And then, so the natural progression for me was to go to George Brown. And at the time, George Brown was like probably one of the top theater schools in the city. So I was really excited to join that program. But yeah, I mean, I worked in the industry for a while, but I did have like a hiatus. I left. So after George Brown, I did work a couple years in the industry, and then I took like a 15-year hiatus. So I left the industry for a big chunk of time, and then I only came back in the last 3 years. So I think that there was a point where I was like, do I want to do this? Because I was young out of theater school. And, you know, in hindsight, looking back, I actually had a really good run in terms of the work I was getting out of theater school. And I think I left prematurely, but I think I was just like the rejection, the auditioning. No one prepared me for the business side of things. You know, theater school did not prepare me for the day in, day out audition, rejection. And honestly, theater school, the focus was theater. Like I wasn't even really prepared for film and television, to be honest. So, and then I was young. So I was also kind of like, okay, I want to do other things. I wanted to travel. so I traveled and backpacked for a few months. And then
Yeah.
when I came back, it was like, okay, I need to make money now. So I just kind of stepped away from it. And then, yeah, probably about 3 years ago, I started working with a career coach, and she was the one that was kind of like asking me really good questions, and acting, just kind of performing, just kept coming back into the mix. And I realized I had unfinished business. Like, it was something that I needed to come back to. And so I did a huge overhaul. Like, I quit my corporate career. I took a huge leap of faith and was like, yeah, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to be an actor at this stage of my life. Like, I have 2 kids. Like, it was just like, what am I doing? But it just, at the same time, I was like, if I don't do it, will I regret it?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then also, yeah. So I guess the long way of answering that question was, I mean, I think I've always wanted to perform, but I definitely did step away from it. And I think part of that was fear.
For sure.
And
yeah.
And I was young, and I think now, coming back to it at an older age too, I do feel more equipped to handle it. So yeah.
No, for sure. Like, I was just on my research on you. Like, I found your LinkedIn, and I was going through like your corporate background. Like, you've worked at some pretty like high profile PR agencies and everything like that.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
like, for anyone else, like, I think that would have been a cool job to have, like office managers and everything like that. Like, it's very stable income and everything. And for you to take that leap of faith could have been incredibly drastic. I'm just curious about like the mental switch you had to do to make that turn.
It was baby steps. Like, I didn't jump in right away. Like, I had to, I mean, it was helpful to be working with a coach. I mean, for sure, because she asked some really good questions, and really had to, I really had to reflect on sort of my belief system too, and things that I had, stories that I had built up and told myself about acting in general, or pursuing a career in acting.
Yeah.
And so I had to really, it was a lot of like self reflection. And then also, I was so worried about coming back to acting, because I was like, oh my God, like, what are people going to think? Like, what's it, like, what is she doing? Like, she's got 2 kids, like, she's got like, and she's got a good paying job. She's, and like, she's going to go and leave that all to be an actor. Like, it can seem crazy, right? And especially if no one in your network is like in the performing arts, and like, so it just seems like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So for me, it was baby steps. It started with, okay, I'm just going to take a class. There's no harm in taking a class. I'm going to go to a class. And it started there. And then it was like, oh, I really liked that class. And then it started to grow, right? It's like a little seed becomes, and then it was, I started to realize I had the bug. Then I started to get back in touch with people I went to theater school with who are still in the game, and be like, how's that going? And how are you finding it? And people who've left and said, do you regret it? Do you have regrets about that? So with all of that information, I then just decided, from a life perspective too, I felt like I could be also more present for my kids with the schedule of an actor. So it was just like taking all those little pieces, and then finally being like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. Like, I'm not passionate about the work I'm doing right now. And I'm passionate about this thing, and I'm not getting any younger. And if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
So true. So true.
So I did it. It was scary as hell. And then it just grew from there. Then I got my headshots, and then I started to send them out. Then I got an agent, and then I was auditioning, and then I was getting callbacks, and all those things started to just validate the decision. So, and now I'm in it. Like I'm full on in it. So
Wow. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
that's a crazy story because like just trying to think of it from what I know about say comedy and how like comedians during the quarantine, like professional comedians for the first time in their careers doing it 25, 30 years, like they've had long stretches of time where they're not doing stage time where before they were doing it every night. And like
Mm-hmm.
comedy is as much a muscle as it is, you know, putting in the work and every element there. So like I've heard and I've seen a lot of stories about comedians going back on stage and like not knowing how to even do it anymore because they've been away for it for just like half a year. I wonder then, like, how was that experience being taking such a long hiatus, going from like you're pretty much a different person from when you started to getting back
Oh
right
yeah.
into it? Like, how was that first audition? Because I know for me, it'll be a while before I get on stage again. That first stage time is going to be like disorienting. How was that first audition for you after that long
I mean,
period?
yeah, it's so funny because obviously, like, my agent was probably just like also testing, like, all my first auditions were like commercial auditions just
Hmm.
to like, okay, let's see how she does in these. And I was, yeah, like, I think I had the butterflies. I was like nervous. I'm like, it's been a while. Um, but it was exhilarating. Like, it was fun. And I felt kind of like the underdog, like I kind of felt like coming into it, I was like, like, well, they haven't seen me before, like it's an opportunity. Like, I don't know. I just kind of just went for it and just to see what happens. And it was fun. Like I leave and yeah, it was just, it was new. Everything was so new. So for
Uh-huh.
me, it was just like a new adventure. And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you get and the more you learn the ropes and what the do's and don'ts are. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I was for sure nervous at first, butterflies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it was exciting. It was definitely exciting.
For
Yeah.
sure. Those silent on camera commercial auditions, though,
Yeah.
I mean, never to slag on commercials, but I always feel so silly when I have to like mime eating a
Yeah.
sandwich. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
just give
Yeah.
me some bread, please.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Or give that like the token like expression that they need. Like it's just like, okay, I just gotta nail this expression that I'm gonna give of
Exactly.
enjoyment or whatever.
I know, right? My
Yeah.
goodness. I just remember going on your Instagram and you had this
Mhm.
one post about it was like an actual envelope. And that
Yeah.
was, yeah, like that was a really poignant caption that you had about basically a recap of your story of how you got back into it. And that ACTRA envelope was just a signifier of your journey thus far into going it back into acting. Can you just go more into detail about what acting is in terms of fulfillment in your life, as opposed to what you were dreading for in your corporate job before going back into acting?
The thing I love about acting, um, it's this magical thing. It's connection. And I just there's something about working with another actor and you're working on a scene or you're taking on this character. There's like this level of empathy to understand what this character is going through that and
Mm-hmm.
getting into the head of this character and then working with another actor. For me it's so much about connection, and I feel like everything else just goes away.
Yeah.
It's like there's something magical about the moment. And so I think that's what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
All the work and all the hard work, and you're prepping behind the scenes, and you're learning your lines, and you're learning your objectives in the scene, and trying to build your character and all the background. And so
Mm-hmm.
so that when you hit that moment and all of that just goes away, and it's just about you and this person that your scene partner,
Mm-hmm.
and connection. And
Absolutely.
I don't know, it's so you don't like, yes, there's connection, and when you work at a corporate workplace you have connections with people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just different. I don't know, and you
Yeah.
get to explore different human experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I love it. I love it.
For sure. Like, I mean, you've
Yeah.
had roles in Untold Stories of the ER and also like History Erased too and everything. Like
Mhm.
2019 seemed like a really big year for you. How did it feel to actually have the fruits of your labor finally bloom after taking that long break?
It was, you know what? It was, and this is where I talk about like, have you made it yet? Like, no, but I'm not, I don't discount how far I've come,
Hmm.
because I think I joined in 2018, and yeah, like to have those booking, you know how it feels like when you have that booking,
Yeah.
it's such a good feeling. Like it's just like, it's like, yes, like you work so hard and you get the booking and it just feels so damn good. It's like validation, right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I belong here. I worked for this. I earned this. I earned my spot in the room. I earned my
Mhm.
spot on set. The part is now mine, and now I get to like have fun and play and enjoy that. So
Yeah.
yeah, 2019. I think like obviously the biggest pivotal moment for me was landing the part in the Christmas movie, because that was a huge part for me
Yeah.
and a huge challenge for me,
Mhm.
because um yeah, that was a huge challenge. I think I auditioned for that by self tape. I
Wow.
sent my tape in, I think, on a Monday. I was contacted for a callback on the Wednesday or Thursday, where I had to go in and read with the lead male who was already cast. And then I got my script on the Friday, and I was shooting on set on Monday. And I
Oh
had
my God.
86 pages, and I was in every single scene.
Oh.
And I was like, like if that's not a challenge, I don't know what is. Like I was intense. Like when I literally said to my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna lock myself in a room now, and you're never gonna see me for a month. Like I basically was like, I need to buckle down. But it was an incredible learning experience. It was an incredible challenge, and um with an amazing studio, and I had so much fun. So for me, that was like a milestone moment, because that really like that was the fruits of my labor, like sort of like coming to
Yeah.
that point. It was like, and also proved to me that I could handle it. Like I could do
Yeah.
it. When it was
Hmm.
all done, said and done, it was like, okay, I did it. Like I
Yeah.
did it. And that was scary and challenging and fun. And it stretched me and I grew, and that's great. So to me, that was big,
For
um,
sure.
in terms of like seeing coming out all the experiences that led to that moment.
Yeah. Uh, Also, brief side note too. When Jeannie Wong first told me about your name, well, sorry, when she told me your name, I was like, that name sounds so familiar. But then I was actually, because I actually shot a commercial with Michael Moroney, and
Oh yeah,
he
so
also
he was
turned
the
out,
lead.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So it's just all of a sudden like incredibly
That's so
small world,
fun.
but like it's amazing
Yeah,
that what you guys created together, it looked really good. Um,
yeah.
what if you could give any one of our listeners about like auditioning prep and what set you apart in that room when you booked that part as Allison, what did you think you did that really set you apart, and what was your preparation process in going into that audition?
So I shot that honestly, and this is the days where I like now self tapes are so prevalent, like almost everything is self taping now. Whereas I don't think it was as big then. Like I don't even think I'm not even sure if I had a ring light.
Oh wow.
Like I don't even know if I had the right equipment. I might have had a ring light, although I'm not sure. Um, I certainly, yeah, like I didn't have a backdrop or anything special. Like so technically, I don't know if it was that great in the technical component, but in terms of the acting, I find, I don't know, for me, it was like I connected with the material right away. I think the scene that was the audition piece was where she visits her mother, her passed on mother at the grave,
Oh, okay.
at the grave site. So it was an emotional scene, and it like, and for me, like I have a really close relationship with my mom, so it was easy to connect with the
Mm,
material right away and just sort of tap into that, you know, emotion. And she was like a social worker. I just felt like there were a lot of things like I could kind of, from my own life experience, just kind of delve to bring into it.
Yeah.
And it, for me, like I said, it was like connection, right? Connection with the material. And just making sure that I hit those emotional moments from a real, truthful place. For me, that's what I'm always trying to do, is like, I don't want to seem like I'm acting. I want it to be truthful as it possibly can. So
Absolutely.
finding my connection to the material to make it truthful. So yeah, I taped it. I didn't even, I mean, this is probably a faux pas. I'm going to share this. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. I didn't even have a reader. Like, I literally
don't listen to what Monica is doing, people.
Don't do that, folks. No. I don't do that anymore. I would never do that again.
Yeah.
But it still worked out, so all good. But I didn't have a reader. So I made it work. So yeah, that's sort of how I approached it, and I shot it at home, sent it in. I kind of like forgot about it, and then was very pleasantly surprised when they came back. So,
oh my God. Sorry, can you remind us again, what was the turnaround time between submitting that initial audition and getting
I think my tape went in on the Monday, or or maybe it went in on the Saturday or the Sunday, but I think it went in the Monday. I think I got a call back on the Wednesday or the Thursday, and the script was in my hands on the Friday, and I was shooting like Monday.
Oh my God.
I think we did a table read on the Friday or Saturday.
There's even a table read sometime within that week. Oh my God.
Yeah, it moved very quickly. And then we were shooting for 3 weeks straight. And yeah, so I also learning how to approach each week, right? And we would shoot out of order. So I would then have to, like, I'd never done this before, right? This many scenes. So I'd have to strategize, okay, how am I going to learn 86 pages in one weekend? Like, I don't think I can humanly do that. So I had to like plan my week and learn this week, this weekend is for this week, next weekend is next week, and just kind of go that way, and just, but out of order. And like, it was honestly, it was like a huge challenge, and but it all worked out in the end. So, yeah.
Is that something that theater school could have prepared you for?
I mean, to a certain degree, like, you have the foundation in terms of how to, do text analysis and prepare your what I call the W5, where I've learned that at Armstrong Acting Studios as well, like who, what, why, when, where, what do you want, all those things. So it does help you in terms of your text analysis and preparing, but I don't know, like, in terms of like film and television, theater school, I feel like there's a gap there. I didn't learn how to be on set. I didn't learn how to, prepare scenes out of order, or what frame that the camera is going to have you in. Like, I had to do the things that you learn on set. It's great. It's like, I had to do an emotional scene, and they started far away. So I had to kind of pace myself so that I didn't like spill all my emotions on a shot that was going to be far away.
True.
So that when they do come in tight, I was able to really give my emotion at that point and not be completely exhausted. Right. So things like that, like, who prepared? I don't know. I didn't learn that in theater school. So you kind of just have to use your, it's experience I think you gain on set, really, to be honest. And like a little bit of common sense and a little bit of like, learning on set, because you don't necessarily know the frames. And in class, I think any film class is good. They'll probably help you go over some of those things, like the camera shots and stuff. The technical components, I guess.
No doubt. So we had a guest on last week that he was recently on a Hallmark movie, and he was telling us about like the different acting techniques or styles as opposed to like being in a non-Hallmark movie. And I would somewhat categorize like a Harlequin book movie similar to a Hallmark movie. Would you what in your research for the character and also research for the production company that's also making it too, what kind of like acting changes that you have to do to prepare yourself for this role so that you don't play like an incredibly gritty child protection services agent as opposed to like say a Harlequin Hallmark movie agent?
I think that comes down to like a little bit of genre too, right? It's like when anytime you're preparing for a role or audition, like you kind of I like the idea is that you should research like what's the genre? Like if are you doing a sci-fi? Are you doing, like a Christmas movie? Like there's different styles, right?
Yeah.
So it's maybe more family friendly. Like you kind of have to keep in mind who's watching it, who's the audience for the show. It's kind of there in the writing, to be honest. So you kind of just, you have to play it as truthfully as you can.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a stylized, a different world, right? It's like a different version of, I don't know. It's a different genre, I guess. I don't know. It's got its own style.
Yeah.
Just like a sci-fi, maybe from like a procedural, like they're all kind of different. So you kind of have to just see how you can cater your performance to fit in that world, I think.
Sure. Yeah. And sorry, Josh, did you have something?
Oh, well, I guess I was thinking kind of like, when you share kind of what you do with other family members, and like sometimes you can get a little self-conscious of it. Like for comedy, like I pick and choose very specific shows that I go to share with like my folks or my parents and stuff. So like you can't always share everything with your family, or especially for like your kids. How was like being able to share this family friendly like film with your kids?
You know what? It was great because it's like, it's perfect. Like, this is the perfect opportunity to share my work. I'm trying to think if there's things I've done. I was like, oh, you can't watch that. I feel like I've said that a lot, like, or I've had auditions or something, stuff that's a little more gritty or scene work or something. And like, maybe I'll show my husband, my kids are like, I want to see it. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it was funny too, though, because there was like a kissing scene. So my kids were like, oh, like they couldn't handle that. And I was like, it's just acting. So it's like, it's hard, you still have to like explain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. Like it's a perfect thing like to share with my parents and like family and friends. And it was so much fun because it was over Christmas. Like we had a viewing party. Like
nice.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's like a nice opportunity to share.
How old are your kids?
10 years old and 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
Two
That's
girls.
Interesting. So during that period then when you decided to, make that change from like being their moms in a corporate job to like now you're suddenly within a week you got to go and shoot an entire movie in another 3 weeks. Like how was that kind of change in lifestyle been for your kids and like for you as well, because you have to juggle family as well as now this pursuit of a passion as all of us have to do.
Yeah. In some ways I think it's been great because my schedule's freed up a little bit too, because when I can audition during the day and then I'm present in the evenings when they get home from school. And then also it's tough because when you do book something like productions, it's like to get a schedule, like you don't get planning and scheduling like way in advance. Like it's like you find out the night before when you're shooting for the next day. So that can be challenging when you're like trying to figure out what you're going to do with your kids and how you're gonna who's gonna watch the children. But in terms, I feel actually the more I think about it, sometimes I go, I have a big responsibility. Like I feel that I'm also setting an example like that. Like what I'm saying to them always is like to go after their dreams, right?
Yeah.
Like and they see their mom like hustling, starting a new career at this stage in her life, and I feel like that's also like a good thing to show them.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like now with lockdown, it's been kind of funny because I don't know if you found this too, Lucas, like there's like a lot of bubbled stuff right now.
Hmm.
Right? Have you noticed? Yeah. So
Yeah.
like there's a lot of bubbled family stuff. So now I've kind of been like, do you guys want to like audition? And they're like,
What?
yeah. So they're kind of into it. So we actually booked a commercial and we
Oh,
shot a
what?
family commercial uh a couple weeks ago or a couple last month.
Nice.
And so they actually got to be on set and like have the whole
Wow.
experience. So that was kind of fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I know.
Can you say what the client was? If anything?
I can. It was Aeroplan. It's already airing now. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You get to do it with the
Thank
whole
you.
family.
I know it was so fun. Actually, it was really funny because when we were doing the tape, I think my husband thought he was just like a prop. I don't think he knew he was like actually gonna book it. Like I think after he was like, wait a minute, so I'm like in the commercial. I'm like, yeah, you're in. So
Oh my God.
but it was fun. It was fun to do that as a family. Yeah.
Oh man. Honestly, that's so cool. Looking at Aeroplan commercial during COVID. Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, like all your great successes cannot be discounted without all the training and all the hard work you actually put into, booking those roles too. I just noticed from like your Manny profile too that you've taken like Meisner classes, scene studies with like Lewis, and also even improv classes too.
Hmm.
Yeah, like what's your approach to training? Is it more of a eclectic way of gaining as many skills as possible, or are you more zoned into one kind of training that you really like and you focus on?
Um, I've gone to a lot of different places because I think I'm still trying to figure out my approach.
Mhm.
I feel sometimes it's changed. I think I'm starting to now feel um, more consistently finding my way into the work. Whereas for a
Cool.
while, I think I was just like kind of exploring different acting techniques and methods. Like I loved Meisner. I think Meisner
Mhm.
is great. I'd actually like to revisit Meisner.
Mhm.
Um, because I think there's something very instinctual about Meisner that I really want to bring into the work, like following your instincts in the moment and
Yeah.
really taking the focus off you and onto the other person.
Mhm.
So I really love that about Meisner. But yeah, just because I think I was just kind of exploring because I'd been out for so long too. It's like
Mm.
I wanted to find my place, like where's going to be the place where I kind of hunker down
True.
and I found one acting teacher, Nola Augustson,
Mm.
and she has been sort of my consistent teacher throughout.
Nice.
And she's been in the industry for years, and she's a veteran, and as is her husband,
Mhm.
and they worked out of Milestone Studios.
Oh.
I mean now. With everything going on, that's sort of on pause.
Mm.
But she's been a great mentor and coach to me. And then lately it's been Armstrong Acting Studios. I kind of came back to them and I've been working with Salvatore Antonio and he's wonderful.
Mhm.
Um, and very like, really like, he focuses a lot on the W5 and I
Yeah.
just find like there are things that I can repeatable actions that I can kind of take into my work
Mhm.
each time, which is very comforting because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to go and be like, what am I doing? I don't know how to approach this. I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
stressed. Like at least you have that methodology. You can come back to the work and like, okay, focus. This is how we're gonna find our way in.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so I like and Amos Crawley as well. He is at Armstrong and he's great. He's been doing coaching me on my like self tapes and stuff like that.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
still so inspiring that even though like, you know, we're in a lockdown right now and everything's kind of shut down, that you're still keeping inspired and still, pursuing the training and at least have that mental capacity to go into the work as opposed to being a passive passenger in the work.
I love it. I love it so much. I love learning. I love class. Um, Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, like you can feel when you're having like your off days and you need, or you're trying to work through something. But I love like pushing through that. And then
Yeah.
when you can see the results or see like discoveries in your work and yeah, I just feel like I'm always I think that's what it is that I love about acting. There's always something to learn. Like
Exactly.
you're never going to be done learning,
Mhm.
and you're never going to be done growing, and it's always going to um like I think you evolve as a person, so does your work at the same
Mhm.
time. Your experiences in life change,
Yeah.
and that comes into your work too.
Mhm.
So I think that's what it is. Now that I'm talking to you guys, like I
Yeah.
feel like that's maybe what I love so much about it.
Uh-huh.
Has
If that makes
there, yeah, that makes total sense because I feel like one of the things that a lot of people get kind of bogged down with in like say a 9 to 5 job is the repetition and kind of just like doing the same things over and over again. And surprisingly, we're all creatures that want some new stimulus and all of that. So I feel like that's also a thing that kind of pushes people to really make that choice to pursue kind of a passion. Dream. I'm wondering then, like, I guess for you, what's that one little kind of experience you're looking forward to potentially learning? Because like I think last week our guest said is like he's looking really forward to that role where he can just pig out and just gain a bunch of weight for the role. Do you do you have like
that
one
sounds pretty
specific?
good.
That does sound really great, and you get paid to do it, so that's like a even better
Like double
bonus.
bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one of those like kind of learning or roles that like would take you down something you'd really want to learn or like a skill to get?
Okay, so I recently did a self tape and I got to play sort of like a villainous character, and
Nice.
oh my god, I enjoyed it so much. Like a little too much.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that is something I want to play something dark. Like I want to like yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I want to do. Yeah, I want to play something gritty and dark, and I want to like challenge myself and do that. And it's so much fun. It's fun. So that's what that's what I want to do.
Absolutely. Because like, yeah, like you can't society generally frowns upon you doing bad things or things against the law, but there's nothing against like playing a biker in like Sons of Anarchy, where you go around playing with guns. That's all good.
Yeah. I just want to play a villain on TV. I don't want to
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
villain. I just
Not
want to
a,
play a villain on TV.
and then
Yeah,
just get all the skills and knowledge of being a villain. So when you decide to do it later, you know what to do. Yeah.
exactly. Just
Right.
saying.
You want to do some word association right now?
Okay. Oh gosh. I feel like okay. I'm ready. I can do this.
Don't worry, it's your subconscious is
I
gonna
started
take over.
sweating as soon as you said it. Okay.
Don't.
All right.
Okay.
For our new listeners or those who don't know about this game, we like to play this little word association game at the end of our podcast, just as a kind of a palate cleanser. Put our guests on the spot, not too much on the spot. Just play around with it. But yeah, so I'll have 10 words. Lucas will have 10 words. We'll go through our lists, and the first idea, thought, word that comes to your mind, as we say each word, just put it out there. The quicker, the more intriguing the answer. So I'm just throwing that. So we'll go through that and we'll see what happens. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. I'll go first and Lucas will finish it off. So first word, clear your head, clear your mind. Family.
Friends.
Pineapple.
Food.
Rain.
Shower.
Alone.
Quiet.
Motivation.
Drive.
Kumquat.
Hilarious.
Mountain.
Climb.
Tightrope.
Walk.
Satisfied.
Determined.
And ending.
Now.
Well done. I like your answer for alone as being quiet, because that's such a parent answer to that, because it's like the
It's
first
so
thing you
true.
can think is like, oh God, I don't have the rest of my family. I don't have to deal with anybody else. It's like quiet. That's
Yes,
it.
quiet. Yeah. So
I love
funny.
ending and just like now, because you just want to finish it. Just finish it.
End scene.
Exactly. All right. Are you ready for the next 10 there?
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
ready.
Okay. Again, clear your mind. Get to that Zen space. Perfect. Okay. First word of 10. Training.
Olympics.
Oh, cool. Meisner.
Truthfully.
Cool. That's a word.
Okay, cool.
Balance.
Workload.
Warmth.
Hug.
Perform.
Emote.
NOLA.
Mentor.
Name.
Person.
Stories.
Life.
Theater.
Stage.
And the last one, Monica.
Me.
That's where it is. Yeah.
I
give
don't know
it
if
up.
it was that inspiring, my one words, but hey.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I
Give it up
showed
for
up.
exactly
Yes.
for Monica Rodriguez Knox. Thank you so
Hey.
much.
Thanks, guys. This is fun. Thank you for having
Aw.
me.
Thank you for being a guest. And what are your social media handles?
Oh, right. Okay, so on Insta, I think it's Knox, MKNOX 01.
Let me
think?
confirm
All
with
right.
you. Let me.
I'm not 100%, to be honest.
You are right.
Am I right? Okay.
01.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. So that's my IG, and then you can find me on Facebook. Just look my name up.
Cool.
Awesome.
And do you have, I guess, any like future projects we should keep an eye out? Something coming up?
Well, the Christmas movie is airing on Christmas Eve, December
Yes.
24th at 7 p.m. on Up TV.
Okay.
And then I think again on Christmas Day at 7 a.m., which I'll be sleeping, but maybe other people will be awake and they can tune in.
Awesome. Yeah. Josh, what are your handles?
At Josh Yang Comedy across everything. And of course, at the end, I always like to plug my other podcast, the Sleep with Josh podcast. It's a sleep aid podcast where I read laws and terms of service and the dictionary. So if you want to hear this voice reading dry stuff to go to sleep with Josh. Tell everybody you do that. So Lucas, what are your handles?
Everyone can find me at Lucas John Ing on Instagram and on Facebook. And please like and subscribe to this podcast at HWMIY Podcast. For audio, it's wherever you listen to your podcast. If you want the video, the good stuff right here, you can find us on YouTube at Have We Made It Yet Podcast. Give it up for Monica again. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
you, guys.
Awesome. We'll see you all next weekend. Remember to wear a mask and stay safe, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.